greetings and salutation. Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I am Omar Stennett, and so delighted that you are back with us again. Episode 17. This is for a new work or a project, and we want to thank you first and foremost for all your support. We are close to 400 subscribers, so remember that by the end of this month, we'd love to have 500 subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. So just get that number up for us, please. We need around 112 more, I believe, to get to 500 for this month. So continue to subscribe to the channel. Like. Hit that like button. You understand me? Invite a friend, invite a family. Make a comment and we will respond to it as well. Also want you to know that you can watch us on Irie Times TV on Fridays, Saturdays. Gotta plug them. They're doing a great work over there, so you need to check out their channel. You're here! All right. Now, today we want to discuss a few things. First, we're going to look at the European Super League, the attempt to start a European Super League that kind of came off real bad. Had fans of clubs demonstrating and the league just dying in child's birth, right? That's what really happened. And so what it really was is the 6 most dominant teams in England over the last, let's say, 20 years. That's Manchester City, Manchester United, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, and Arsenal, along with Atletico Madrid out of Spain, Real Madrid out of Spain, and Barcelona out of Spain. And then you had Juve, you had Inter Milan out of Italy, and there were plans to get the Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund, and they were hoping that PSG would have been in there, but there was a major uproar by fans because they felt like these billionaire owners were seeking to destroy what was there. But there are two sides to the story. A lot of these guys, they invest their money into these clubs, they purchase them for billions, and they want to make back as much money as possible. A lot of the clubs really are owned by American, and American sport is sort of different. It is more franchise. In other words, they want to play the best at all times and be in a secure position so their investments can continue. In other words, they don't want to be in anything where there is going to be relegations and stuff like that. So that was part of the issue. Nonetheless, I mean, like I said, it died and it never worked out, and there are serious ripple effects because of that right now. So at Manchester United, the fans want the Glazers who own Manchester United to sell the club. I know at Arsenal, the Kroenkes, KSE Sports, the fans want the Kroenkes to sell Arsenal. And I have a perspective that I want you to look at. Say a billionaire were to step in and buy Arsenal that is valued at close to $2.1 billion. If someone spends that amount of money, they'll probably spend, I would say, in the first year, an next $900 million on salaries and transfers. So that you're looking at $3 billion. If someone were to do that, don't you think they're going to want to put the club in a place and position to maximize their profits so that they can get back value on their investment? And that may, regardless of if they win or not, they want to do something that even if they don't win, they are making back money. No one goes into this kind of stuff and invest this kind of money because they love the sport alone. They do it because they want money. They are billionaires because they invest and earn money on the money that they have. They let their money work for them. So the idea that a next billionaire is going to purchase any one of these two clubs and then not have the same attitude is really a farce. Right? In Jamaica would say something, you can jump out a frying pan and jump into fire. What would it really change? It's same billionaires. And after a while, they are going to want to squeeze the club so that they can get back the investment. And that's the thing. And that's the truth. I looked at something else. Of these 6 big clubs, let's talk about the ones in England. None of these clubs are owned by billionaires in England. At some point, they were all English owned, and they divested them to people in other countries. So, if the English love football so much, why hasn't the billionaires in England invested in these clubs? Because maybe nobody in England wants to risk their money. So other people coming from other countries and risk their money, and you don't want them to get back any money. I want you to think about it like that. Do you know who one of the English owners are? And think about this guy. His name is Mike Ashley at Newcastle. And he's one of the owners that is probably treated the worst by the fans. The worst by the English fans. And he's an English owner. In fact, he can't even sell Newcastle. So I don't know. But of this I'm sure. No billionaire is going to come and have a different attitude. They all want back their money when they invest it. And that's just the truth. All right? So, let's look at the clubs. Arsenal, 200 million won't save Arsenal. Because fundamentally, there are things wrong. So, in the next 5 years, they may start to recover and they are my club. Same thing with Tottenham. There are fundamental issues in these clubs that need a complete overall, right, change of like almost all their present players. Because a lot of the issues with these clubs is not the owners, it is the players. Arsenal played against Everton as an example on Sunday. The owner had nothing to do with the goal. The players had, the coach had nothing to do with the goal. That was a player issue. Player issue. So too often we're blaming owners for the failure of the teams when it is the players. The thing is that an owner really can't leave, But a player can play so bad that you fall down the table and they can move to a bigger club. And that is the issue. Players need to be held accountable. They are earning £200,000 a month and then a week and £100,000 a week. And on the field, they are not performing. They must be held accountable. Maybe it should be earn as you play. And your salary is dependent on your performance. You have a basic salary and the rest of it is based on your performance. Maybe that's what they need to do. I don't know. What do you think? So the ESL has crumbled. It's going to come back up. I'm telling you, it is going to come back up. If not this year again, next year or the year after that, but it is going to come back up. Mark my words, because I am sure about that. I am sure. All right? NBA basketball continues to be nice. We have to talk about it. I'm telling you. Kyrie Irving, the Brooklyn Nets, they are the #1 seed in the East. They just surpassed the Philadelphia 76ers. The Milwaukee Bucks, they are at in the #3 spot. New York Knicks are in the #4 spot. The Knicks are going to make the playoffs. First time since 2013. Listen, at the beginning of the season, come on Knicks fan, no one thought that they would be in this position. No one. Not even me. I am sure that you didn't believe or think or fathom that the New York Knicks would be at this time of the season with 12 games left for the regular season to be over. #4 seed. Can you imagine? #5 seed is the Atlanta Hawks are playing some good basketball. We don't want to remember the rest of the team. Boston Celtics is at 6, and then you have a whole bunch of other teams wrestling for the 7 to 8 and to kind of get into the playoff things. Over in the West, you have same Utah leading, Utah out there up front, and then you have Phoenix Suns, then you have the LA Clippers, and then the Denver Nuggets 4th, Lakers 5th, Portland 6th and stuff. Going to be a very tough ending of the season because some teams they need to look out for. Russell Westbrook and Beal out there in Washington. They are on an 8-game win streak. Playing some very good basketball. Toronto. Because these teams are trying to finish in the top 10, because if you're in the top 10, you can end up in the proper playoff position. So I think Washington is pushing. You have Washington, Indiana over there. You have Toronto. You have Miami. You have the Charlotte Hornets. All of these teams are kind of pushing and fighting for spots from 7 to 10, and that's going to be an interesting end to the NBA season. Over in the East is the same thing. The Golden State Warriors with, Steph Curry is having a tremendous season. But if I was supposed to select a MVP right now, I know that Brooklyn is the number 1 seed. So there's nobody on Brooklyn that has played enough game to be the MVP of the regular season. All right, Utah has so many pieces that there is no one player that you could attribute to the success of the Utah Jazz season. You can't say Donovan Mitchell because Mike Conley has been playing well. You can't say Mike Conley because, Jordan Clarkson is playing well. You can't say him because Gobert is playing well. You can't say Gobert because Ingles is playing well. So there are so many pieces out there that you can't identify one from the Jazz to be the MVP. All right? Now, when you look at the number 2 seed, the Phoenix Suns, Chris Paul is having a tremendous season and Booker is having a good season. But a lot of Booker's success is based on Chris Paul, and they were in the bubble last season, and so I couldn't give it to them. I couldn't give it to Chris Paul. All right. So do we come back to the East and look at Joel Embiid? He had a major stretch in terms of injury, and he has come back. So that's the next person again that I'm not sure if I would give it to him. Steph Curry, he's leading the Warriors, but they are a perennial playoff team and they are struggling this season. So I'm not sure that they could get it. So who then is the MVP? All of these guys that I've called could be candidates. But I think if the season were to stop right now, when I look at where the Knicks were last season and where they are, and the one player from the Knicks who have made a difference is Julius Randle. And so I would say right now, Julius Randle is your NBA MVP regular season. The man is averaging a double-double, right? The team, is 10 games above where they were in last season. Right now, making the playoffs since 2013. Without, watch this, when the season started, there was no all-star on the New York Knicks. This season was Julius Randle's first all-star season, and during the trade window, they got Derrick Rose, who is coming off the bench. And so I'd say what the New York Knicks has accomplished this season makes Julius Randle my MVP candidate. I am sure. Please don't object. Do you agree or do you agree? There you go. I know you would agree with me. Yeah, so that's what's happening on the international scene in terms of football and basketball. And so let's take it local. Let's take it local as we talk about the Reggae Boyz and what is happening with the Reggae Boyz. All right, so I'm going to give you my predicted 11. Now, I am doing this based on all the players that have Jamaican roots being available for selection to Coach Whitmore. All right, you'd have heard that Coach Whitmore has had an addition to his coaching staff. I think Paul Hall, former Reggae Boy who was instrumental in our World Cup campaign in 1998, is now part of the coaching staff. It doesn't remove Jerome Waite, but I think with the integration of English-born players, having a Paul Hall who watches them probably more than a Whitmore who lives here in Jamaica is important. And so he will be a part of the coaching staff, and they're getting some trainer and stuff. So the team, the backroom staff is fitting together, which is very good. If you remember when Rene Simoes was in Jamaica, he had Alfredo Monteso, he had all of these guys who he brought from Brazil to be a part of his backroom staff, right? So he had at least 4 to 5 other players, coaches, with him as part of his coaching staff, which I think Whitmore needs. Listen, I think Whitmore is good. Are there better coaches in the world? Yes. But when I hear people branding up some names in terms of can replace Theodore Whitmore. For example, people are talking about Miguel Coley because he did well at JC, and yeah, he's overseas doing well. Overseas where? Doing well where? Doing well with who? What players does he have available to him? He needs to show himself. We can't believe in Whitmore, who was unproven when he get the job, and go back to a person who is unproven. There you go. He needs to establish himself. Take on an international team. Go into the islands and take on one of the island teams and do a couple of seasons there with them. Let us see. But if we should move from Whitmore, we can't be looking to develop somebody in the coaching of senior players. It doesn't work. We have players playing in the top leagues around the world. I want us to understand that. And so is Whitmore the best person? Maybe not. But where are the options? We don't have the money to pay huge salary to probably one of the better international coaches. So of all that we have, he's probably the best. He's probably the best. Give me some names. Can't be Jerome Waite because he's presently part of the coaching staff. Can't be the guys, the Edward guys over Turks and Caicos and those places, because they are not there. And Cayman Island, there's no success with what they are doing. So if we go, we need to think about good replacement. Who are the good replacement who are available, who have proven themselves at the level that Whitmore is at, that they are better than him? That's the question we have to answer. So, of course, if I'm going to select 11 based on who I know is there, here's what I'd do. All right? Andre Blake, obviously, I would have in goal. I'd go with Kemar Lawrence at left back because I want some sort of chemistry. And some of these players have been playing together for 6 years. So I'd have Kemar Lawrence. All right? In defense, Liam Moore, I think, is one of our better defenders, so I'd have him in there, right? The other guy that I really like that I've been watching a whole lot of is Ethan Pinnock, all right? I know Lowe is good, and this is just my thought. I haven't not been watching a lot of Lowe's games since he has gone over into the Middle East to be playing. So I don't know, maybe he's doing well, maybe he's improving, I don't know. He's a young player that I rate, and he's very good from what I've seen when we go forward and set plays. He scores goal. But from what I've seen of Ethan Pinnock, the game that he played for Jamaica, and in the championship, I mean, he's a very solid defender, and I think it would be a good combination with Liam Moore, all right? And then Mason Holgate looks like he's going to be here in Jamaica playing, because he's hoping to get called for the Euros, and if not, then he's going to opt for Jamaica. He's not going to get called for the Euros, bottom line. So I'd put him at right back. All right, unless we get like a Ben Godfrey, I'd put Ben Godfrey at right back and then put Mason Holgate beside Liam Moore. All right, in midfield, I'd play 3. Right now, Daniel Johnson is my box-to-box midfielder. All right, now Ravel Morris has not been playing a lot of football. All right, so I wouldn't start Ravel. All right, I wouldn't. I know there's a guy called Gray and Lewis Baker Grant, who seem to be, he's at Swindon. Holding midfielder is the area that we have struggled. I'd put him there. I'd put Anthony Grant as a holding midfielder, and then alongside him, I would have, watch this, I would have Daniel Johnson. All right, and I'd have Bobby Reed. Those three. All right. If there's any changes, if Ravel Morris is up and running, then you know you can mix and match. If Isaac Hayden is fit and ready, I don't think he will because of his long-term injury, then he could come and play that holding midfield role. So we have many options there. All right. And up front, I'd have Leon Bailey obviously on one side. I'd play him on the right, and the guy who is on form right now, I'm telling you, this guy is on form, is this guy, Jamal Lowe. Jamal Lowe needs to start. I'm telling you. He plays on the left side he plays on both sides, but I prefer him coming in from the left and put Leon Bailey on the right. All right, so Leon Bailey on the right and Jamal Lowe on the left. And in the middle, Antonio is injured. I don't know how ready he will be. Anthony Gray. Them are what is his name? Gray means center forward from Watford. He could be up there, but if Ivan Toney is here, then he would play. If not, I'll go with Gray. But Antonio, until he gets fit, I don't know if I would start him. If he's fit and up and running, he plays in center forward. I think that's a good enough team to win the Gold Cup. People always ask me, what about our youngsters? There are certain youngsters that we need to have in this squad. And let me give you them. This guy named Anglin, young guy from Harbourview, he's overseas now. He should be a part. He should always be around the Jamaica setup. All right? McGee should always be around the Jamaica setup, even if he's not playing. Lamar Walker need to be around the Jamaica setup, even if he's not playing. A next young guy that we have not been paying a lot of attention to is Topi. He needs to be around the national setup, even if he's not playing regularly, because I think they're going to be part of our future, right? So that would be my predicted starting 11. You know, I don't think like the selection of the squad should be left up to Whitmore. And this is something that I am proposing. I'm proposing that for the national team, because of the limited opportunity Theodore Whitmore have to scout, that a member of the technical committee, say a Paul Hall, a Theodore Whitmore, and two other persons must be a panel that selects the 30-man squad. But Whitmore gets to pick the 18 for each game with his coaching staff. But when it comes to the overall squad, I think it needs to be a group of persons, because Whitmore has a limited scouting ability right now because of the pandemic, and people talk about they can watch players. It's a different thing when you're watching a player on television than when you're in the stadium, because when they don't have the ball, you don't get to see their movements. You don't get to see how they're operating in the defensive setup. You have to be actually in the venue at the field watching that, and he's not doing all of that, so he's seeing limited things. And you know, the eyeball test is the biggest test when it comes on to sport and football. All right, so that's my Reggae Boyz info for you, right? And let me just say this also, that track and field is up and going and running. I mean, Jamaica have some athletes on the collegiate level doing well. Natasha Morris ran over the weekend and did 10:87, I believe, her personal best, looking really, really good. I mean, you had Christopher Taylor who ran out as well, did really, really well. You know that Akeem Bloomfield, I mean, got injured recently, and he just came out asking for support for his mother who has breast cancer stage 4. So I don't know But if there is a link that you can go to, but you can just type in Akeem Bloomfield and Google, and then you see how you can support him. Good athlete, guy that I love, think he's going to be a good one in the future for Jamaica, but he's going through hard times now, and I think because of this he may miss the Olympics. You know, would be so sad at this young age, but at least he has time to recover. But we have guys like Akira Nugent, think Dwight, a guy called Dwight Thomas, or Thompson, doing very well, a hurdler. You had Broadbell doing well in the hurdles at the velocity meet. So many of the Jamaican athletes, Sherioki Young, doing well, Ashanti Moore doing well, all of these guys. So we haven't heard or seen much from Sherika Jackson, but I think she's there. You know, Elaine and Shelly are the smooth operators, and so they will be up and ready. Julian Fort seems to be coming back into form, and so some good things happening, especially with MVP. I don't know, but I don't know. Somebody needs to tell me what is happening with the racers. I think since Usain Bolt, has stopped, I think racers' production or the ability to produce athletes is declining and declining. I don't know what is happening over there. Mr. Glenn Mills need to find a next gem. But there are so many athletes we haven't heard from. We haven't heard from Steffi, and seen anything really from Stephanie McPherson is her correct name. Spencer, the hurdler, we haven't heard from her. The Tracy sisters. So there are so many athletes that we still have not heard from. But there are some out there, doing things. So I think the big events at our national championships will be the 100-meter hurdles for men and the 100-meter hurdles for women. All right? I'm telling you that. You see, the 100-meter sprint for women is going to be a banger. I am telling you. It's going to be a banger. So look out for that. That should be coming up very, very soon. Listen, just want you to know that we have several live videos. So if you have not yet, you need to hit the notification bell, because right throughout this week we'll be doing some videos. And once we reach, 500 subscribers, we'll be giving away some credit. We'll be just sending the number in the link, just speaking on the video, and then we leave it in the link, and the first person who comes on gets the credit, and you can just bam and link it. In fact, we're going to put credit for both networks, meaning the Digicel and the Flow network and thing. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in, for joining us on I Am Sure Sports. It's always a delight. We appreciate your love and your support. You are the reason why we are doing this. You're the reason why we keep improving our craft and we stay in our lane. We are not trying to be like anybody else. We do our thing, and we don't know, some people love it, some people don't love it, but that's it. We want to stay true to who we are and present things as we see them. You may not agree, you may not like it, and that's fine. Do your thing, we do our thing, and that's just how it works. But thank you so much. Remember to like. Right? Important that you like the videos, share the videos, subscribe, and make a comment. Yeah, man, subscribe. Listen, remember, if you have a daughter, they can subscribe. Your son can subscribe. Your brother can subscribe. Your girl can subscribe. Your man can subscribe. Anybody. Listen, if your cat have a cell phone, let your cat subscribe. You understand me? Yeah. If your chicken them with your rose on a back for sell, have a cell phone, let them subscribe. Yeah? Do you hear me now? Big up yourself. Enjoy the rest of your day. And be blessed, remain blessed, and stay blessed. You understand me? There's a light at the end of the tunnel, but there's a light in the tunnel. And that light will lead you to the end of the tunnel. So if you're in a dark place right now, know that there is hope. There is hope. Look up, for there is hope. And hope is on its way. I am sure.
You're watching IrishTimesTV.com. We bring the Caribbean to you.